with still looking compact and still conceding a couple of goals and slightly fortunate not to concede a couple more. It's finding that balance, isn't it, when you look at the situation? But interesting to see what he says after the game. But all said and done, not quite enough. Not quite enough. Villa weren't at their extreme best, I don't think. But even so, had enough to sort of have general control of the game without being that impressive themselves.
Matt, thanks for your thoughts this afternoon from Villa Park. Defeat on the road for Leicester City then in the Premier League. Final score, Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 1.
Thank you very much to Niall and to Matt. Matt will stay with us during this post-match show. Welcome along to it here on Matchday Live with me, Dan Bates, Mark Albrighton and Jerry Taggart. Join me in the studio as we assess a disappointing afternoon in the end over in the West Midlands. We'll start with the man that's played for both sides today, Mark. You could tell you were gutted, really, when Villa scored that second with your Leicester allegiances, of course. And everyone here was equally annoyed, weren't they, really, with the manner of the goal and then the fact that they'd done so well to get back into that game. What are your overall thoughts on that 90 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think we did enough to win the game by any stretch. But if you're not going to win the game, don't lose it. Secure what you have. Like be solid, be compact, and don't give anything away cheaply. The goal in which we eventually lose the game is absolutely criminal. There's no way in this league we should be conceding a goal like that. It's happened all season. We've conceded soft goal after soft goal, and that today is a gift for Aston Villa, and they'll be coming away. They haven't really carved us open too much. I don't think over the 90 minutes, but we've given them a gift there, and to lose the game on that it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's not good.
Mark's nailed it. Simple as that. I mean, we're sitting here for the second game in a row after generally what have been two good performances and nothing to show for it in regards to points on the board, which is frustrating. I didn't want to mention soft goals before the game, but as Mark's already said, we've gifted them a winner. And when you're away from home and it's tight and you've dragged yourself back into the game to draw level, and there's not a lot happening today as regards to going forward, then you have to make sure defensively that you're absolutely spot on. And that means whether you want to or not, whether the manager tells you to or not, you have to take matters into your own hands to secure some kind of result. And if that means banging that ball into Rose Ed or as far up that pitch as it'll go, then sometimes you have to do that. And that was exactly the right opportunity for that to happen. And it didn't. And unfortunately, Leicester paid the price for that.
It's one of those goals, Mark. You can imagine that the away end, those Leicester fans that have travelled, again, would be so frustrated with what they've seen, similar to what we have been.
Yeah, and I think we see it in football quite a lot at the minute, and teams trying to play out, and people are obsessed with this nature of having to play out and make passes. And I think sometimes you've just got to use your common sense, your initiative, and look at the situation. The ball, James Justin plays the ball into Ayo, I think it is, and he's got his back to goal in his own third with a defender right up against him. Like, even if the ball goes to his feet, like, what does he do with it? Like, there's nothing that he can do good from that. Clear your lines, put it forward. Vards will chase it. He'll chase anything all day. Like, put the ball down the side for him to run onto, to try and just get your team up the pitch. Like, you've just scored. Like, you've just got yourself back into the game. You're trying to secure a little bit and just consolidate what you've got, and then we just like we said, just concede an early, just a gift, gift.
Matt, how frustrated were you at that moment? How frustrated are you now at full time?
Well, yeah, for the same reasons that lads have spoken about there. You put yourself sort of in Leicester City players or supporters' positions as well, but as players in particular, they must have been sort of encouraged by the last couple of performances, even the Liverpool to a level, but then Man City last week, we've spoken about that, the levels. Leicester were much better in that game than this, I thought, certainly in terms of forward movement and combinations. But defensively today, Villa were off their best form, but that's largely, at least partly, down to Leicester City's organisation really and togetherness there, and to let that slip on any sort of occasion, but in particular with the goal, even if it was just the one slip, it's one slip too many, and that's got to be deflating. In fairness, like you come back, especially as Dags mentioned, you come back once, coming back twice. A place like Villa Park is no easy task, is it? And so sort of mentally that it affects you, it hits you hard, and I don't know. It's interesting that when you say, Mark, I often wonder the comments you made there about there seems an obsession sometimes. I'm not saying necessarily in Leicester's case about trying to play out from tight situations. Like in your experience, are you told to sort of make decisions there? Yeah, when you played, I don't know, under Brendan Rodgers or even with Enzo Maresca, is there a demand to like you have to try and play your way out, or do you get the opportunity to pick and choose and make your own decisions?
Yeah, obviously the manager will give you his instructions, and Maresca last year was very much of the feeling that he wanted you to play out, he wanted you to pass at any opportunity and work your way out. And Brendan Rodgers slightly, but maybe a little bit more diluted than what Enzo was. So, but I feel. Did
you have a license, Mark, though, to make your own decisions?
I felt like under any manager that I've played, you make your decisions on the pitch. And you know what? Yeah. If he clears the ball, if JJ clears the ball in that situation, and the ball goes up, and I don't know, they sort of come at you again, or then so be it. And if the manager berates you for clearing the ball, then so be it. Like that's fine. I can live with a manager hammering me for that reason. But some managers these days, like JJ's tried playing out, and he'll be applauded for trying it. And I just feel like, and I'm not picking on JJ. I'm not picking on Leicester as a club in this situation. I feel like it's football in general, and everybody's with, like I say, got this obsession with playing, and I just think players need to use their common sense. Players need to use their brains and their own. Like, we're not robots. Like, do what you think is best at the time. And I just think, like I say, I don't know what Ruud van Nistelrooy is like, but some managers will applaud that for trying to play.
But Matt, if we take a look at the positives from today, we said the performance against Liverpool was decent, particularly in that first half at Anfield. Again, a lot of people said maybe the best performance of the season came against Man City. The result didn't follow with it. Again, the performance was decent today, made Villa look quite average at times, didn't they? But then again, they've just not been able to get the result, not even been able to get a point today.
Yeah, you wouldn't look at this performance today and...
Oh, I think we've just lost Matt. Same question to you, Jerry, then.
I wasn't listening, sorry.
That's okay. We'll try and get Matt back if we can do. But basically, performances, again, today, even it wasn't the worst performance in the world. They looked good at times, made Villa look poor at times. But solid. Again, they haven't been able to come away with anything.
Yeah, look solid for the most part defensively, which is obviously a part of the game that I concentrate the mind on more than... not a lot happening going forward apart from the odd 40. There was the goal, of course. We spoke about the goal. we spoke about forward players making runs, being in certain areas of the box when the ball's on the opposite side. Steffi Malvedidi gets his goal for exactly that same reason, because he's in the back post when it really mattered. Tap in finish. And at that point, as a team, you're thinking, well, we've conceded a bit of a soft goal to go one behind when we didn't really deserve it because there was nothing in the game between both teams. But we're behind. You get yourself back in the game at 1-1 from a good bit of play from Jordan Ayew initially, reading an interception, getting down the wing, bish bash bosh, back at the goal. It's then, and the following, I don't know, 5, 10 to 15 minutes set, what Mark's talking about as individuals on the pitch. You need to read the signs of the game. How is the game going? Are you in the ascendancy? Are the opposition in the ascendancy? Are you on the back foot? Are you putting them on the back foot? And at that moment in time, Leicester were deep in their own half, under pressure. That's where, as an individual, you have to take matters into your own hands and make the right decisions. Now, the two goals and what led up to those two goals apart, there wasn't really a lot wrong in Leicester's game. But unfortunately, the frustrating side of it is, yet again, there's nothing to show for it. For a good, solid performance in a difficult game against a team who don't really give a lot away at home.
That's one thing that we circled before the game about Villa's home record and the fact they don't lose games at home. There was a point at 1-1 where that was in jeopardy, wasn't it, Mark, where Leicester looked like they could create something, they could go and get that winner.
Yeah, I thought that was Leicester's best period of the game. I think we touched on it at half-time. They'd done, executed the game plan, if you like, in the first half very well. They were organised. They seemed solid. The two forwards were sitting on the midfielders and stopping the midfielders playing. They got themselves in at half-time 0-0. And then, obviously after conceding, then they go on and have their best period, get the goal, and then it's a case of, right, okay, what are we doing here? Are we going for the win, or are we going to sort of consolidate what we've got? And if we get a chance to break, then great. But I don't think we really did either. I think it was a little bit in between. I think obviously we've touched on the second goal. I think even the first goal was the aspects that we can do better in terms of clearing the lines and getting out to stop the shot quicker. But I think there was small positives in there. I would have liked to have seen us be a bit more positive, like we touched on as well at half time. Be a bit more positive in the wide areas. You look where our goal comes from, and it's a cross in the box, down the outside, a cross in the box, and it causes problems. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that, but I thought, like Jerry says, other than the two goals, I thought we looked quite solid in there.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, pretty much. There's not that much to shout about about the game in general, really, today. For both sides, it wasn't scintillating viewing, but that's not really an issue from Leicester's point of view. You take a dull game if you get something out of it. Being sort of resolute and hard to beat is one thing, but you can't just rely on that, especially when you are a team that are often culpable in terms of having defensive slips, as again today. It's inevitable that not everything's going to go exactly to plan, but they do get punished, as you do in this league, pretty regularly. And so you can definitely see a togetherness there. I think an organisation. There's not too many gaps in their setup, and people are communicating and seem to be a little bit more, not just because Connor Cody's there. They seem more in sync with each other than they have been previously. But having said that, I don't know. I don't expect them to control games. I don't think Leicester have necessarily got the squad for that to happen too regularly. But playing sort of in bursts, in phases, particularly away from home, it didn't really bring too much together today to worry Martinez often enough. Was it a couple of times in the second half? One being the goal, and obviously Mavididi should have done better with an earlier effort. But it was, like I say, Villa didn't have to play that well, and they still went on to win the game, which is, you know, ultimately the purpose of why we're all here is to go and get results, isn't it? It's what Leicester need. But you know, you can see areas of development a little bit, but it needs to come together a little bit more creativity about the team as well.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jerry, that Matt makes there about the fact that they can take something from this. There is that togetherness there. Sometimes these individual errors just need to be cut out.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying there isn't positives, but I think individual self-belief in what you're doing and the decision making, what you're doing. How long does that last for as the season cracks on? You know, what is it, 18 games left now? And okay, I know it's work in progress with a new manager, new process. We're starting to see the team being a little bit more solid, but as you say, you know, it's been said, it's down to individuals making similar mistakes game in, game out. And so how does that affect the other players in the team stroke squad who 99 times out of 100 are doing the right things and walking off the pitch with nothing to show for it, because unfortunately, you know, an individual's made a wrong decision that's go along the way to help cost them the game. And that's the issue you have moving forward. So Ruud van Nistelrooy's got a lot of work to do psychologically with the players, as well as, you know, trying to keep improving, you know, that solid foundation that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 games.
Mark, I'll let you have the final say of the afternoon. Leicester's next games, obviously they've got QPR in the Cup, so following that in the league, it's Palace at home, Fulham at home, Spurs away, Everton away. There are points to be picked up there, and if they show this togetherness and they show, and maybe play the way they played against Man City, then absolutely they can pick up a good number of points in those games.
I think they can. I think they've got the quality there. Like I say, another week or two of training together and working on Ruud van Nistelrooy's sort of methods and patterns of play and different tactics that he's got. I think will improve over time. I think if we can put that performance together, put that togetherness, like you say, and just be a bit more cuter, just be a little bit more streetwise and harder to beat, harder to play against, harder to beat, make better decisions at times. And if we can bring all that together, then I don't see any reason why we can't go and pick up plenty of points over that period.
Hopefully so. Well, the next game isn't a league game, as we've said, so there's no points to be picked up. Next time the Foxes are in action, it is indeed here, though, at King Power Stadium. It's against QPR in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. That is a, strangely, 2 o'clock kickoff. An odd time for a Saturday, that one. So 2 o'clock kickoff at home to QPR. So that means we're live on Matchday Live from 1 p.m. That's followed by that big game, home to Crystal Palace in the Premier League. That is a 7:30 kickoff the Wednesday following that. So a week on Wednesday. Huge game back here again at King Power Stadium. So do make sure you join us as we build up to that game there. Big thank you to Matt Elliott for travelling down to Birmingham and Villa for this game today. Thanks to Jerry and to Mark for their company here in the studio today on what's been ultimately another disappointing afternoon for the Foxes. Hopefully things will turn around soon though. Thank you and have a fantastic new year, everybody. Goodbye.